gift as a sign you won. Every line you step across, you don't count it as a cost. Every inch you take from me, you disguise your greed as humility. Your kingdom built on a stolen grace. When kingdom comes, it leaves no trace. I am a volcano, fire and flood. I am a volcano, boiling blood. I am a volcano, pray I never explode. I am a volcano, reap what you
Check. Ready to go. Ha.
held the fire under stone, bending stood on broken bones, buried deep where you cannot see. Radar pre-cycled all How long till I stand my ground? I am a volcano, fire and flood. I am a volcano.
Check. Oh, I'm excited. It's one of those days. It's just one of those days. Why am I still have my? It moved the counter up. I can't stand this kind of pressure. The counter moved to the all screens. Every screen counts. It's now I've got 25 seconds to remedy it. Dun dun ham 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 diggy do ham ham. Okay, name it counter. That helps a lot. Place them in the box so that they can't get 11 seconds. 10, 9, 8. Will he finish it in time? It's close to finish. 5, 4, 3, 2. Got it. Oh, used it again. I'm just like, this is the kind of party I've been planning for all my life. Just cutting it, red wire, blue wire. That's what I think that might be the subtitle of my third autobiography once I finish the first two. Thank you, Facebook people, for giving me angry emojis right out of the gate. Well, hello there. Suddenly, you're so in this cosplay, you're playing Obi-Wan and I'm playing R2. Okay, as long as we work that out, I'm fine. Well, hello there. Which is almost Matthew Broderick in Ferris Bueller. Come along, Sloan. Like, come along now. Like he's almost doing like an erudite mid-Atlantic, you know? Hey, thanks for letting me sing Mean Street with you in Pittsburgh the other night. You guys killed it. That was so fun. Oh, that was you, Jason. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a super fun song to do. Although the singing part is really only the chorus. The rest of it is sort of like a conversation. That's what I like about Mean Street. As opposed to Mean Streets, which is the movie. I have too many clips to talk like this. I can't get carried away. The next thing you know, I'll turn around and, oh, hello there. The show will be half done, and I haven't gotten to any of the 3,000 clips of madness that I've been looking at, like, not the least of which is, you know, CSL, my brother, my man, and there's a...
Man, I'm tired of being right.
There's a part of this whole thing that I mean, you know it's coming, and it's not much of a surprise. It's like a good movie that you know how it's going to end. Thank you, Jackson. I'm amazing as Donald Davenport. The only difference between he and I is that my ego is bigger. All right. The the biggest thing we've been talking about for a long time, how there is no Hunter Biden laptop. And any maggots who are here, some of them are right here out of the gate. Thanks for being here. You help us in the algorithm in a way the locals can't. And I've been saying to you guys from the very beginning, you're full of crap. They're the whole like John Paul McIsaac soaking wet laptops crap that was first that they were selling gibberish. And now we've got confirmation yet again, ladies and gentlemen. I own the laptop. You see this, and you could tell why Candace used "I own the laptop," meaning like I have the actual laptop. Like there's a laptop and I own it. When really what he's kind of saying is I own everything about the scandal that was in the alleged laptop story. We'll jump into this real quick. And then we're going to do a lot of bouncing around today because I've got way too many clips and too little show, even at 2 hours, to get this on. And I got to tell you, you guys are awesome. Can't tell you how much I appreciate. Thank you, Bean Toes, for being at the Vixen. All right, here you go. This is, pardon. I got to start this back up. Go back to here.
You were a crackhead.
There you go. All right, why I'm not hearing the audio because I blocked it out on my little thing like a silly person. Here you go. I don't know why I would do such a thing, but I did.
What it was that just revisiting what made a lot of people, including myself, so angry about you, or I guess it wasn't really about you. It was the gas.
No, it wasn't really about you. Like there's so many subtle drags in this. I'm going to get carried away.
It was the letter that came from people saying it was Russian propaganda. That is what is driving us crazy about the Epstein files right now. It's what's actually leading, ironically, to the collapse.
It was. It actually was. Dum-dum. It was. You'll get to it. That's why Kash Patel and all these assholes haven't released it, don't have it, aren't using it, because they can tell from the shit metadata. I already attacked that. This is a video a long time ago of me going through the Washington Post bullshit story, and you'll hear exactly these details. I'm not going to, all right.
Collapse of the MAGA support is we don't want to be gaslit.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it wasn't you. That's why it was.
Yes, you did. You wouldn't have voted for Jeffrey Epstein's wingman. I'm sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
So refreshing when you were like, yes, I had a crack addiction. This is me. I did this. I was with hookers. Yeah. But you weren't speaking for you. And there were literally a bunch of people that were coming out and saying, this is not real. Yeah. And that is the most.
By the way, I was one of those people. And I'm fucking right, lady. All right. I know. Hold on. We'll get there.
Most infuriating thing because everyone's average. Everyone can connect with addiction. Everyone could have this conversation.
Nobody was saying the addiction wasn't real or the being with the hookers and the snorting blood. None of that. That wasn't the case. This is a mental conflation that silly people do. When you have, when your brain doesn't work very well and you have a really bad case of the,
oh, hello there.
You'll make a mix between someone telling you that the combination of all this stuff mixed with fake shit and the story that Rudy Giuliani was telling about a hard drive called laptop, which is not a laptop. And if you don't believe me, try to scroll across a laptop with no screen and keyboard. And that part was the Russian propaganda. The fact that they jammed all this stuff together and then they had fake shit in there as well. That was the Russian propaganda part. The story of John Paul McIsaac and the 3 soaking wet laptops. That's total propaganda. That wasn't even Russian. That was just the dumbest way they could make this shit happen. Nobody was saying he wasn't a crack addict. And he wasn't with hookers and pictures, and there weren't nude pictures. It's in his fucking book, lady. Nobody said that what's in his autobiography was Russian propaganda. All right, I'm fine.
This conversation, actually, if you would come out and I probably in that environment, obviously, maybe there would have been a different result because we were at each other's throats.
No, exactly.
But that is what made people so angry. Yeah. It was like, nope, he never smoked crack. It wasn't real.
Yeah. Nobody said that. This is her conflation in her head. And this is about the maggot denial they have this thing that if you're going, there are parts of this that are true enough to make it plausible, and then there's a bunch of bullshit that makes you believe the criminal shit, which is fake, so that the guy you're voting for, whose mythology is all the deal-making, rich guy shit, self-made man stuff, that's his myth, and the real shit is his criming. You can do this kind of wash of it's all corrupt noise.
Yeah. The laptop is Russian propaganda. We're like, guys, what is this?
Yeah, by the way, here's the problem, is that Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani saved the quote-unquote laptop, which, by the way, is like, if we can agree on that gaslighting, I will agree on the gaslighting of this, is that there was never a quote-unquote laptop. There was a hard drive of stolen and hacked material, wherever it came from, whether it came from a Delaware repair shop or whether it came, like Lev Parnas says, from Dmitry Firtash, who was trying to sell a hard drive of Hunter Biden's in Ukraine.
Yes, for $3 million. And Rudy bought it for $5 million. And then they made up the fucking blind story guy. They had fucking Don Jr. walk in and hand over 3 soaking wet laptops to a guy who can't see 6 inches in front of his face and wouldn't be able to pick out Hunter Biden from fucking Eric Trump.
That they were looking for before the laptop repair shop guy was ever the twinkle in the eye. Just go back and look at the record. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. Is you're absolutely right. And and this is like the freedom of being able to say this. It's like, yeah, they should have let me go out and talk.
Yeah.
But it was 2 weeks before the campaign. And then then the election was over.
Which, by the way, what they were counting on. We'll dump this. People will figure out it's fake, but they'll figure out it's fake after the election. This works just like the Comey thing with Hillary Clinton, where it turned out to be nothing, but the scandal was enough to diminish the vote leading into it. They did the same thing with the sort of like Gaza bullshit, sending people to stampede in front of the DNC while Trump was meeting Netanyahu in secret, planning for Trump Plaza Gaza and the fucking carpet bombing and brooming of the Palestinians.
Steve Bannon, it goes on and with his buddy Gao, the Chinese billionaire,
Go and Guai, and he was that guy was a fake dissident.
That's now in prison, and that is like a Chinese spy or whatever. Where he got arrested on his boat and all that crap. There is go listen to it. Go listen to the recorded conversation in which they say, like, the laptop, like, we got him. So we collected all the salacious pictures and we put them out there. And then Rudy went out and stood on the steps of the Newcastle County Courthouse with Bernie Carrick and said, this contains child exploitation, like pure, pure, just, so on both sides, you have this reaction, which I don't think was necessarily a coordinated reaction in the sense.
By the way, some people in the chat are asking, why would he go on Candace Owens? I happen to think this is fucking brilliant because there's so much truth in this that a lot of people predicated their beliefs about Biden on from her and from that crowd. That talking directly to her and going, hey, I'm right here. I'm in your face. Let me tell you something. You were sold a bill of goods. If you think you're being gaslit now about Charlie Kirk, think for a second. You think they invented gaslighting you or bullshitting you about no new wars and no tax? And we're going to do tax breaks for middle income and low income people and fuck the billionaires. And we're going to give everybody's going to rise together and the economy's going to be awesome and 50-cent gas or whatever the shit. If you think they just started the gaslighting like 8 months ago, you're insane. He's always been lying to MAGA. Always. And they're just waking up to it. So there's a part of this. There's an opportunity here where if they're realizing he lied to them about what he was going to do, maybe, just maybe, he was also lying to them about other people.
The sense that, what do you do in 2 weeks? And so they come up with this and they say, and I don't get to go out and say, no, I was. But you know what I did? Is that come April, I write a book And I tell everybody, I was addicted to crack.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my story. And here's what happened. And here is all of the rooms that no one would ever want to admit to being in that I was in. And it was like a blip on the radar, because everybody was now fighting about whether there was kind of a suppressed story on Twitter and whether there was this gaslighting from, and by the way, I am not here to defend any of
But
those
then it's
people.
part of like the political machine where they're like, we have 2 weeks to go to the election.
Yeah.
We're going to do this denial, because we can't afford this right now, essentially.
Yeah.
And then we're going to table this, make it past these 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then by that time, first and foremost,
By
your
the way,
father won,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes, he did, actually. Effectively, that's a good important point right there. Yes, Joe Biden did win the election. Legally, clearly, by the numbers.
and so people are angry. They feel like the election's been stolen and that there was this entire collusion to cover a laptop, which if it was on the other side, they may have done too. This is what DC
May have.
is. It's politics. But that is where I think the anger came from.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
Sorry, you don't think they're covering up Don Jr.'s coke usage? Shit, the coke they found in that locker in the White House was probably left there since Trump was there by Don. Nobody uses this locker. I'll just leave it in the back.
I get it.
how dare you gaslight us?
Yeah.
And then people then start making you this focal point
Yeah.
of
And it
like,
never had anything to do with me.
right. It was
And, you
kind
know,
of bigger than you at that point,
You know what the laptop proved?
that you were a crackhead.
There you go.
And if you are a
All right, and then she's going to sell home title lock for a minute, which again, I don't do these kind of ads, so hit the like, share the show if you don't want to spend anything on it. If you do, there's a Venmo and other stuff, but I don't do that's it's to avoid doing shit like this.
notices in the mail. That's why I partnered with Home Title Lock so that you can
Good for you.
protect HomeTitleLock.com.
Yeah, I got it,
You'll
right.
get a free title.
And by the way, I have a theory that Home Title Lock and Noble Gold and a couple other things are a plot to raise certain voices on the fringes of the conversation, because you can afford more ads for your own show and you can afford more production and more help because you do ads for these things and they throw that money at you. And if you take it, you can use that money to build your show up. And so they do both ends of the spectrum and drive these AG1, same shit.
Title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That is 24/7 monitoring of your title records. Urge the $1 million. Use the link in the description.
That they investigated up and down during the Trump administration.
Hold on, let me back up.
That they investigated other,
I
bribery and all these other things.
Yeah, he's addressing right now before they split it up by the ad, which is very telling, I think. He talks about smoking crack and hookers and, that's a thing that he admits to, and having a gun for 11 days or whatever it was, that he admits to that. And he's like, yeah, it was awful. I was not in my right mind. That's what you do. That's why addiction and drugs are bad, right? But he's like, the other stuff, that bribery and doing business and all that shit or whatever, they've had all this information the entire time during the Trump administration and all, since he's come back into office, and nothing. If Hunter Biden walked out of China with $1.5 billion, like Trump said, where is it? Where's fucking, Cockeye Patel on this? I've covered everything. He's too busy licking rocks at the Charlie Kirk crime scene.
That they investigated up and down during the Trump administration with a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney. With the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, the only U.S. attorney in the country to stay on and continue to prosecute me, who then became special counsel after I got a plea deal, because I paid my taxes late, and I paid them with penalties and interest, and I owned a gun for 11 days, while they say I was addicted and check that box. That's it. Everybody has all the information. It's not like the Department of Justice has my digital footprint in every text message, every email. And there's not a single one in which you find that would in any way supports the really serious accusations of enriching my father, enriching himself somehow, or none of it. None of it's there. So I own whatever you want to call it. I own the laptop. Come. You know what? We can go through it together. If you're willing to avert your eyes to the tragedy
Mhm.
of addiction. I mean, just the absolute tragedy of it.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, there is no space for that in discourse anymore. There's no space for the nuance of, well, that was addiction. That wasn't corruption. I did not do any business through entire 4 years. I became a painter. You know why I became a painter? Because it literally saved my life. I painted my whole life. And Melissa instinctively knew that I literally needed to occupy my hands in early recovery, 12 hours a day. Just, to be able to focus on not the crushing weight of the consequences of years of addiction. And so I just sat and I painted and I painted and I painted. And I decided to have a show in the gallery and offer my paintings for sale. And the New York Post comes out and says, Hunter Biden's selling his paintings for $500,000. I've never sold a painting nor offered a painting for $500,000 in my friggin' life. And by the way, everybody knows this because every painting that I sold, everybody that bought a painting had to pay about $250,000 to defend themselves before an impeachment hearing.
Mhm.
Go read the transcripts of people under oath.
Right. The irony was, in this case, that the people who bought his paintings had to hire lawyers for the impeachment hearings and the Comer hearings and that kind of stuff to just point out this is a piece of history, whether they like the art or not. Having a president's son at a period in history like this that paints stuff and having one of those paintings is in and of itself, if not a good piece of art, and that's debatable, obviously, it's a piece of history, right? So it may be worth it just for that, right? It's certainly worth more than a fucking screen print of a Campbell's soup can in that regard. So there you go. And I think we got some, hold on. Did we get a super chat in a moment while we're doing that? Thank you so much. Bridget, thank you. What's up, Hal? You and John Fugelsang have been getting me through this insane time. Thank you. We will do it. I'll do it by being cute, and he'll do it by being handsome. It's gonna work, trust me. And then, Kelker Carroll, Hal, you're the most intelligent, funny, handsome, and nicest man on YouTube. Oh, stop it! I mean, it's true, but stop it. But don't stop it. So, Arthur in Instagram says people that bought his paintings were funding his crack addiction. He started painting post addiction. Just for the record, if you know, time moves forward. If you have a calendar, look even on your phone, you'll notice that time, according to quantum physics, obviously time can overlap onto itself and move in reverse, but it never does, and that's because the past sucked. All of it, every second of it, up until a half hour ago, things were complete shit. And with every tick of the clock, time goes, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that. So, but yeah, he was already past his addiction, and he was using it as part of his healing. But, there are those among us that believe that addicts should be put down like feral animals. And those people often wear crosses. It's very strange to me.
But regardless, is the laptop absolutely proved nothing, but it became this cultural touchstone. It was like it embodied the Biden crime family.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to be able to believe that, not wanted to be able to believe that, if you believe that because you're being told that by people that you trust that have told you that your election was stolen, that your democracy was thwarted, that the process was unfair, is that all you had to do, and I get this, is look at the pictures. Right? Doesn't look like a good guy to me.
Right. Because
He
you
looks
weren't a
like
good
an
guy
awful
in the
guy.
pictures.
No.
Yeah. So it's
Smoking
not
crack in a
really-
motel room with a prostitute.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they come out and they're saying, oh, like this, I admit it all. Not only admit it all, I own it all. I will own everything, the worst of it, all of it.
There you go. So again, a level of, I think, of That's the sign of a quality human being, that the most embarrassing parts of your life you can own and stand up for who you were and still are. Now, in comparison, if I may, let's compare and contrast, shall we? Because she did a whole hour and 45 minutes with him. So you should go, especially the maggots who are, still fans of Jeffrey Epstein's wingman, AKA Donald Trump. Go watch the whole thing. Watch it, and then, by the way, anytime you're like, fuck this guy, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think he's corrupt. I think he's criminal. I think the Biden crime family, blah, blah, blah. Then ask yourself, why can't Kash Patel, and why didn't Pam Bondi, and why won't Todd Blanche, and why won't any judge in this country actually be able to bring charges against Joe fucking Biden, a senator / vice president, then president from Delaware, with no international holdings, no fucking golf courses in Qatar, no foreign LLC partnerships, no mobbed up concrete in all of his fucking buildings? You think they're afraid of going after Joe Biden? You think they're looking at the stuff like, this is too dark, too scary? Or do they look at it and go, we can't actually, there's no there there. This isn't evidence. It just worked. It just worked to bullshit Trump's way back into the White House so that he could keep all of his promises, like energy prices being cut in half, inflation going away, interest rates going down, and of course, no new wars. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan over here is he's got a question. Why was Jeffrey Epstein interested in scientists? Eric Weinstein gives his take. Because, anybody know? Because Eric Weinstein is all over the Epstein files. Hung out with them all the time. Went to the island. Went to the fucking Zorro Ranch. Hung out at the Florida house. Hung out at the New York house. Why was he interested in scientists? No, the question is, and this is a question I ask all maggots, how long would it have taken you to figure out he was a pedophile? How long? How long would it have taken you to figure out Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile? If it's less than 2 decades, you beat Trump. If it's less than 12 years, you beat this asshole who's supposed to be a genius. The fact that, and the look on Joe Rogan's face kind of shows that I don't know how much he buys what's being said here, but what I will say is, like, why the fuck Joe has had on, I want to say 9 people who are deeply in the Epstein files, not peripheral, not, rando, like I was at a party once, not like the lie that Lutnick tells, right? Joe has had people on who were financially and socially intertwined with Epstein and Maxwell for over a decade and a half, at least. Multiple people who, it's work for them to denigrate him, even though we all know now who he was. They talk him up. And yet, instead of having somebody on that might be an expert on the case, like, some of the journalists that have written books about it, and, Epstein, he brings on one of his buddies to excuse himself. He brings on one of his buddies to go, you weren't hanging. The question isn't, why did Jeffrey Epstein like scientists? Because that's obvious. The same reason he liked politicians and multimillionaires and heads of industry and stuff. It got him into like an opportunistic infection, like fucking syphilis, got him into the chambers of power and colleges. That's why. And you could have the illusion of worth. That's why he had him. That wasn't the question. Who gives a fuck why Jeffrey Epstein wanted to be? He was a power broker, and he used that power broker as, brokerage as cover for what he was doing. The question is, what made you interested in Jeffrey Epstein for 15 years or 12 years or however long they were friends? Right? That's the question. So let's see if he answers it.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
This fucking DMT, we're shaved monkeys, tired 90s nihilistic horse shit. Get over yourself.
I don't think it was one nation. I think it was a bunch of countries. And the most obvious country is not Israel. It's the U.S. because he was operating on U.S. soil. Do I think Israel was involved? Certainly. Do I think that the UK was involved?
Yeah, I guess in retrospect, because I guess then you missed it. Maybe they were just his cameras and he sold it to the highest bidder. You ever think about that?
I do. Saudi Arabia, I do. I think
so. They're all in it together. So let me get this straight. He was with the U.S., the Saudis, the Israelis, who were spying on the U.S. at the time, and there was a big scandal about that at the overlap. And you're not going to bring up Russia at all, even though he sent them $1 billion in the 5 weeks before he escaped.
I think that this was a massive piece of structure confused with a sex scandal and a blackmail operation. And we're all sort of taking the bait.
So confused with it. What the fuck are you talking about? It was the integral part of the blackmail scheme. That's how he was involved with intelligence organizations, or how he kept himself, valuable to corresponding sides. Everybody thinks you're a double agent. Nobody wants to take you down.
So the sex scandal and all the sex stuff was...
Yeah, it's interesting how he wants to just... He just wants to blow right past that.
Happy. And give people a place to go to where they could have these experiences. If you're dealing with physicists or some high-end scientist guy, they don't have access to this. They probably have never been with a beautiful woman in their life.
We're not talking about lab nerds at Harvard, asshat. Of course, these tenured professors at Harvard and Cambridge and stuff. Jesus Christ, did you ever see Stephen Hawking's nurse?
All of a sudden they're hanging out with Jeffrey
you
Epstein.
think, Joe.
I'm not talking about you, bitch.
No, I'm not talking about me either.
I'm sure you're fine.
Ain't talking about love.
Let's be realistic. Most of these guys they're not hot.
It doesn't matter at that level.
Right? And then all of a sudden they're around 10s who are giving them back massages and drugs are being...
No, they're more like 12s. Joe, there's a difference between hey, I'm surrounded by supermodels. That's just why they go to cocktail parties in New York. You don't go to Jeffrey Epstein's fucking house to hang out with 10s.
Being used. And
you do it to fucking... Ugh.
And there's this feeling of anonymity, of safety. You can get away with this. Everybody else is doing it. It's been going on for decades. It's fine. This is a place you go. And it's fun, and they look forward to it. And they probably also do have intellectual discussions because you are surrounded by...
Who wouldn't want in?
Right.
Right. Yeah, it's not your fault, man. Why would you go to a singles bar or go on fucking Match.com and meet people? When you can go to basically a brothel for psychos, run by, somebody who might be attached to 7 intelligence services. The fuck are you guys talking about? Oh my God. At least Lutnick had the brains to lie.
Right. And so that's
like, I knew immediately and I got the fuck out of there. He obviously didn't, but that he knew at least to tell that story. Jesus.
how he ropes you in.
That's right.
But, so what is his, why scientists? And what would be the benefit of having access to these scientists?
When you bring on the guy who, like Les Wexner or something, why modeling agencies? Why the 3 tiers of power? What are you talking about?
And having this place on Zorro Ranch and being able to talk to these people.
Think about it from the perspective of who is doing the constructing rather than the constructed. So he's the construct.
Okay.
He's an incompetent. He just lied to Steve Bannon. You see him touch his face. Classic tell of lying.
Nice. Yeah. You know, it's another big classic tell of lying or obfuscation. Big nasal sniff. He's a liar. That guy's a liar. Whatever he said about me, right?
Touching your face is a classic tell of lying.
If you looked at what he just did.
The way he did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
So he's lying about the information, or he's lying about his
He's
depth
a liar.
of knowledge?
Yes, he's lying about his depth of knowledge.
Okay.
So how did I know he was a construct? In part, one of the things, like they're dumb tells that we give away.
God. That means this is not helping. I don't know why this asshole thinks this helps. If he's a total fake and you can spot it because you're brilliant and he's got all these easy tells, you know, because he touches his face all the time and he's fucking like, I'm a brilliant physicist too. I do math as well. Like, if you could tell that fast, why'd you fucking hang out with him that long? How'd you end up at the island, dummy?
One of his was he was supposed to be a currency trader. And when we say we're trading currency, we're not trading currency. We're trading what are called spot contracts that are.
Oh my God. Because he used the vernacular of the room and not the actual currency traders don't talk like that. Actually, shut the fuck up.
Settled with an exchange of currency in 2 days' time, right? So in other words, if I do a euro trade, it's really a dollar-euro trade, and you and I are going to trade dollars for euros, and we agree to do it in 2 days' time. And then if you want to keep the position on, you exchange that contract for a contract.
Okay. This is obfuscation through complex noise. You want proof somebody's bullshitting you live? Is that they are exaggerating a point to try and go, this guy lied about that in a conversational way with people who aren't also, he said currency trader. No, nobody talks about that. Nobody says that, does it? It's like nobody in tech says they're in tech, right? That kind of, this is the argument. So that when shit comes out about him being in there, that was probably a lie too.
That will follow to erase that contract.
Oh my God, this is fucking dumb. Joe, what are you doing? What are you doing? Bring on somebody who is reported in depth on the Epstein files and who is working with members of Congress who are passing along information that they have that is the stuff that hasn't been released yet, and get them on your show and give them a voice instead of walking behind people like Eric Weinstein with a fucking shovel, scooping up his shit and eating it. Are you fucking insane? Here, let me help you out. The next time somebody who's been shown to be a material friend of Jeffrey Epstein wants to be on your show, tell your booker to tell them no, you're booked up for the rest of the year. That way you don't have to be rude to one of Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators, if that matters to you. Holy fuck. That's just awful. Speaking of awful, boy, is the economy awesome under Donald Trump. Isn't it great? He's such a businessman. Out of the deal. There's a housing. Let's jump into housing real quick. This is obviously I'm going to go to a really liberal source to back up what I'm saying, like Fox Business. Housing nightmare. Expert warns home construction is grinding to a halt. You don't say.
the markets. Look at this. Now the Dow is up 86 and the Nasdaq's up 16. We got green on the screen, but nowhere near as much as we had about 10 minutes ago. Let's bring in.
So it goes down, but since it's up from when it was down, it's still below where it was. But since it's going up from the bottom of where it was, it's green. Yeah, I'm beginning to think you assholes time the showing of these things, the big ones anyways, not the little one over here that you can't stop, only when it reverses for a couple of seconds before it goes back down again in the intraday trading.
In Jeff Seeker, I want to know about the housing market because we.
He's giving you the housing market eyes right now. Hi, I'm Jeff Seekum.
We've got new data coming out this
week. Oh, yeah, new data.
Week on housing, I believe. You think it's going to be bad.
Stuart. And you think it's going to be bad. Why would that be? Because you can see.
Not only do I think it's going to be bad, but it's going to put the first-time home buyers yet again staring into the abyss, deferring the dream of home ownership. Because this week,
it's the gilded golden age of America, housing for everyone. Cheap houses that are worth a lot of money when you sell them, which I know doesn't work, but that's what Trump said. You'll be able to buy a house cheap, but sell a house high, even if you're selling it to the person that now wants to buy. Oh, yeah. So stupid.
We are getting construction starts, we're getting pending homes, we're getting mortgage applications, building permits. We're getting a lot of data this week, and what the data is going to show is, number one, everybody looks at energy prices as being solely to do with transportation. No, energy prices have a lot to do with construction because of the material costs. What we're going to see.
Most houses are made out of Legos, and you need naphtha from petroleum to make them.
Now, especially in permits and construction, is that construction is grinding to a halt. And what does that mean? There's no more supply. And with interest rates at this high level,
and they're not coming down. They aren't. Again, Warsh can't just come and do it surreptitiously. They take a vote of all the governors. He's the chairman. He's not the president of the Fed.
Very little supply. It doesn't give much hope to the first-time home buyers, nor does it give hope to any homeowners that would like to sell their house, maybe buy a smaller house or a larger house. The market right now is frozen, and affordability, again, is an elusive dream.
Okay, I think you're in the real estate business, so you know what you're
And I'm proud to be as a petty Jew. Because at least I know houses are free.
Talking about. So I'll change the subject for a second, okay? You've often come.
Yeah, let's not talk about this.
Commented on NVIDIA. They report on Wednesday afternoon. Mm-hmm. How do you see it going?
I mean, NVIDIA, the belle of the ball, hail to the king. They have done so many great things.
Yeah, let's skip right past houses you can live in to chips that aren't made yet. I'm a big fan of NVIDIA, but for fuck's sake, man, most of their stock is based on the idea that they are sold out of every chip they make for the next year or two at least, and the demand is growing at the same time. So that means what they'll be able to charge for it, especially for the premium stuff, is going to go up because people will pay their way. They'll basically bribe the company to be in the front of the line.
But the one thing that they're entirely dependent on, often in life, the good is the enemy of the great. They are under the curse of high expectations. There is an expectation of a big number. And what we have to take into account is the hyperscalers that have spent up to 40, 50, 60% of their revenue on AI. Those hyperscalers have to pull back just because fundamentally.
Yeah, but they're going to do it on construction, not on chips, stupid. So they can't move ahead. It's just the volume of chips is the issue. Good Lord.
They can't keep this pace. And the problem right now also is the data centers that require energy, that electricity. There is a shortage of energy and electricity. So yes, NVIDIA is.
Gee, it almost sounds like we should innovate our way out of this problem. I've got barely enough. What's that thing that I've got running my AI in the house?
The Illudium Q36 explosive space modulator.
Yeah, I have one that runs my whole house.
Is a great stock. I've been recommending it since it was split adjusted $3 a share on this show. But I'm going to say it is not going to be the barn burner that it's been because things are going to slow down. Good, but not great.
I would take that. Better than housing, bad and getting worse.
Yes, exactly.
Poor people. Fuck you, Stuart Varney. I'll invest in computer chips rather than housing.
I had to put something positive in my comment.
Yeah, you did. That was pretty good. Well done, young man. Thank you very much. Thanks, man.
What a douchebag. What a fucking douchebag. Oh, my God. All right. So, yeah, needless to say, you get my point that, but don't worry, beef prices are coming down because they've got a solution. I actually do want to hear what the solution will be to the cost of beef, which I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like I'm thinking that this is a supply issue. Demand is relatively stable, if not slightly up, but the number of cattle because of drought and fertilizer and feed and that kind of stuff is lower, but also the cost of it over time and the land, of course, being bought up. There's been this cycle over the last decade and a half, especially during the last Trump administration, where the cost of actually raising cattle went up precipitously. And so they just need more cows. You just got to fucking have more cows. And again, after avian flu, a chicken, it can be from a chick to an egg-laying hen in a matter of, a couple of months, few months. But in the case of a cow, it takes a while. You got to grow that animal up, and it takes a while to make a beef cow or a dairy cow. And that's years. And if you get behind that and you don't know how to fucking manage it, I'm fine. I'm all right. I'm going to be all right. Here we go. I don't know. I think this is Wednesday. Wednesday. That's how we call it. That's what we call Wednesday in Adams in Kentucky.
Farmers are
Oh, it's this asshole again.
struggling to deal with high fertilizer costs.
What? Farmers are struggling with high fertilizer costs? You mean because 65% of them can't afford the fertilizer they will need for the planting season?
The Iran war has sent those costs straight up.
First of all, nobody knew that was going to happen, and Trump knew it also at the same time because everybody knew it. So there.
Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins joins me now. Madam Secretary, 4 companies dominate the fertilizer market. Only 2 of them are American-owned. What can you do about the fertilizer crisis for our farmers?
Yes, Donald Trump is a specializer in fertilizer. All he has to do is open his mouth, and it just the fertilizer comes a-flowing, ladies and gentlemen.
This is some bullshit. We see through it. This is some bullshit. Can't undo it. Say it loud.
What are we going to do about this shit, lady?
The short term, first of all.
Well, Stuart, it's so great to be on with you. And
it is so great.
And I'm just so grateful. Listen, we had a big announcement yesterday on fertilizer. We've talked about the short-term plan to get the prices back down. We've waived the Jones Act, opened up new lines from...
By the way, the Jones Act is just about shipping from port to port, American port to American port. How the fuck does that lower the cost of fertilizer? It applies to all shipping.
Venezuela, those are starting to move onshore right now. We have a couple more announcements for the short term coming in the next few days on some transportation rules, obviously looking at lifting some tariffs, et cetera. But for the long term...
I feel much better looking at lifting some tariffs. She means Russia. She means potash from Russia.
Stuart, and I think this is the bigger message that over the decades, what used to be an almost entirely American, fertilizer production facilities has now moved across the world, and as a result, we now import about half of our fertilizer.
Yeah, he said that part already, lady.
In this country,
that was true during Trump's first term as well. Now, what happened during Biden? Hold on. If I may. The U.S. Potash Project by the Michigan Potash and Salt Company is a planned $1 billion solution mining facility in Osceola and Mecosta counties, Michigan. It aims to extract nearly 800,000 tons of crop fertilizer and 1 million tons of salt annually, with the potential to open by 2028. Well, by golly, when did that start? Anybody remember who was president when that started? 2023, late 2022. Somebody can look it up.
Country, and it's about $9 billion. And so what we announced yesterday in connection, I had Chris Wright from Department of Energy, Lee Zeldin, EPA.
Oh, what, we're supposed to be impressed that you have their fucking phone numbers because they're other cabinet officials?
Howard Lutnick a couple of weeks ago. This is an all-of-government approach.
A couple of weeks ago?
To reshoring all of our fertilizer production. One of the big announcements yesterday is we are fast-tracking, Trump-speeding CF fertilizer. For example, in Louisiana, in 45 days, permitting, will be able to produce and build the largest ammonia plant in the world. And this is happening all over the country. So by
the largest ammonia plant in the world. As if they don't have enough, like, disease clusters in that state already.
By the time we leave, the goal is to eat away of that half importation and instead have all of our fertilizer.
I'm sorry, when are you leaving? Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Produced in America, so we no longer have to rely on Russia, Ukraine, China, etc.
So long as we all understand that that is a long-term solution and a good one, but in the short term, there's not much you can really do until the Gulf opens up.
Yeah, she didn't bring up the Gulf. Thanks, Stuart. Excuse me. She was trying to avoid talking about that. She's doing everything she can. She's bringing up people in the cabinet that have nothing to do with this, that she hasn't spoken to in weeks. She's dressed like a stripper that works at a funeral parlor. Her face is 30% forehead, and still she does everything to distract you. And still you bring up the Strait of Hormuz, you dick.
The Gulf Straits are open.
Well,
that's the short-term real answer, isn't it?
Well, yes and no, Stuart, because here's why.
Mostly yes.
Hormuz is only a part of the problem.
Yes, it's the expensive part, shithead.
Under the Biden administration, fertilizer prices were actually higher than they are today. And listen, I'm not here to
That was a shipping thing, stupid, under COVID.
Say, don't worry, it's going to be okay. Fertilizer prices today are too high. But this is a result of China basically restricting their exports on fertilizer. We've got major issues with Morocco.
Well, Trump's got a personal relationship with Xi. They're really good friends. I mean, they're so close. He must have brought it up at the fucking meeting. Sorry, you're looking for a short-term solution, having China pull back some of their limits on selling potash to the United States, fertilizer to the United States, the precursors, if you will, of fertilizer. And Trump didn't think to bring it up at his fucking little, like, schoolgirl parade they gave for him.
Morocco getting fertilizer out. This is much, much bigger than Hormuz. The challenge in America is not whether or not we have fertilizer. Thanks to President Trump's energy independence, we've got it here. The challenge is the cost. So yes, opening Hormuz.
Yeah, just like oil. It's not nationalized, you dumb son of a bitch. Fuck me. It's sold on the open market. It competes with every other price in the world. Go knock yourself out, you commie. Start claiming we're going to nationalize our fucking potash now.
Hormuz will definitely help that, but again, this is an incredibly complicated policy issue.
No, it isn't. No, it's fucking not. There's a long-term solution and a short-term crisis. The answer to the short-term crisis is there is no answer because the Strait of Hormuz is the problem. There is a limited number of, the limited amount, a limited supply worldwide. The people who sell it are competing on the open market with everybody else, and everybody wants, truckloads of this shit, literally, in some cases. And we're in line with everybody else. And the only way you can get more of it quicker is to pay more for it.
But we are moving at Trump speed to fix it.
Oh my God, at Trump speed? Sorry, which one? His executive time, how long it takes him to get down from the residence to the Oval, which is like 3 fucking hours. If you believe that he wakes up at 6, it's 5 hours. I don't believe he's up all night and up all, at all. Truth sinkholing. I don't buy it. But if you believe that, then it takes him 5 hours to get dressed and go down to the office every morning because of executive time. Maybe the speech he's talking about is him walking down or up the stairs on Air Force One.
Here comes Memorial Day, and millions are preparing the barbecue. They're in for some sticker shock, as we know. The average price of a pound of beef is at up $6, and it's at $6.90 a pound. Cattle numbers, they're at a 3-generation low.
Yes. This is also something that requires some strategic thinking. You don't buy a bunch of Venezuelan beef. You maybe buy the cows.
What can you do about that?
Yes, tell us. Here it is. You know what? I've been judging. It's wrong of me. Jim Booker would not approve. What? I'm sure she's got a plan. What Brooke Rollins, who looks like one of the Imperial Guards on A Handmaid's Tale, and I'm not sure what that necklace is. I'm fairly certain it's a prescription pill in 2 prescription pills in a bubble, and that's her dose for the day. What are you going to do?
Well, a couple of important points on that.
Okay. Not so much strategies and what you're going to do, but points. Okay, so points. This is why it's a problem. He just said it, why it's a problem. We know it's a problem. This is the points of why she'll restate that it's generational and it's not their fault and it's probably Biden's fault.
That there is no doubt that we are facing very high beef prices.
Yeah, he just put it on the screen, asshole.
Specifically in ground beef, and you mentioned.
Yes, he literally just put up the price of ground beef. Yeah, we all, you guys saw that. I'm not, chat room, am I alone here? Did you guys see? You did see that I'm not, there's no, he had to have put, I don't smell almonds. Clearly, they showed the price of the, okay. Just me? Okay.
Mentioned that. We're at about $6.70. You mentioned $6.90.
No, he showed it on screen. It's the active price. Don't try to, talk him down 20 cents, asshole. You're on Fox Business. Look at him. He's either dozing off or he's starting to get that, this bitch, blink.
That's about $1 above where it has historically been. So,
So, $1. What's another dollar here? $1 there? You know, if you live alone and you eat tuna from a can over the sink like Brooke does, it's not a big deal. But if you're one of these assholes with kids.
So, and we don't take that for granted, right? $1 is too much, more than where it has been. But
by the way, I don't know if you know this, but this is the scene where Marty McFly almost killed a bunch of cows, but luckily he got up to 88 miles an hour right before it. He did singe the grass right here, but I don't have the full footage because Doc is standing way off here. Doc.
But this is also combined with Make America Healthy Again. People are eating more beef than ever before. This is an amazing testament to our incredible ranchers who produce the best beef in America. You combine that with the...
American beef producers produce the best beef in America? As opposed to
lowest herd size, per your point. And this was after years of war on our cattle ranchers. You know, the last administration took away grazing allotments, the climate change.
No, they didn't. You just had maggots like the Bundys, like grazing their cattle on the land that everybody uses and overgrazing it, basically starving everybody else's herds on shared land that they didn't pay for.
Hoax. They said that cattle's, gas, their burps, etc., were creating climate change.
It's not the burps. It's methane, and the cow farts storyline. That's like 12 fucking years ago. It drove, like, veganism and vegetarianism drove the demand down. Stupid. It didn't. The supply didn't lower.
They didn't want any more cattle ranchers in America.
Yeah, nobody ever did that, ever.
We had the entire immigration disaster, which brought up the screwworm from South America, breached the Darien Gap. We've had to close.
Sorry. So we've got illegal cattle. We got undocumented heifers coming in here and giving the sif to our cows.
The ports to keep that flesh-eating pest out of America. We're at this perfect storm. But again, the long-term plan here to...
Welcome to It's Not My Fault. None of this is my fault at all. As a matter of fact, we're not going to fix it. It's going to fix itself.
That's not how it works. Yeah. You've got it all wrong. It's a losing game.
Yeah. That's not how it works, lady.
To rebuild the beef, the cattle herds in America, the product of the USA, focusing on American raised and grown beef. The Department of Justice now looking into our 4 processors, 2 of which are owned by in Brazil, ensure.
Yes, they got billions of dollars during Trump's last farm bailout during fucking COVID. Remember that? The 2 Brazilian brothers that own one of these big cattle ranches, they didn't live in the United States, and they got like PPE money or PPP money.
Ensuring that we can, again, talk about reshoring fertilizer. We've got to reshore processing too. All of this will allow us to build out an even bigger beef herd. But that's really...
I don't know. Fuck off. I don't know. Nobody gives a shit about what you gotta. Seriously. Don't tell me what you gotta. Everybody agrees there's a problem. Tell me what you gonna. I got to get that on a shirt. Don't tell me what you gotta. Tell me what you gonna. That's pretty solid. I got to say. That floats. Shit. How much is a Brazilian? Those cows look weird to me. Yeah, I always think they should just leave a stripe. Sorry. Okay. So, I'm so tired of this. We gotta. Tell me what you gonna, or shut the fuck up. But now we go to Live on Fox, where we find out what's going out great. Is everything? Oh, this is not good. 4-year low. They must mean mortgage rates, interest, the price of eggs. Are the American confidence in economy at 4-year low poll finds? Oh, I don't know. Maybe we should skip this one. It just, 'cause it's bad news, and they might shut my show down. Because right. You know what? We can take it. We can hold it together. It's just what we're going to do. We're going to give it the old college hump. Oof. I hope you were buying it for you and someone else at least. Also, can I, let's see. Oh my gosh, Ginny. Oh my Lord. Hold on one second. Ginny, thank you so much for the super chat. That's incredible. Bless you. Hold on, let me bring that up. That I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I'm so glad I found your channel. Thanks for the sanity. It's my gift to you. So I'm glad I can give you a little bit of, comedy, solace, and information at the same time. Oh yes, and Kilmar Obrego Garcia is free. Thank you, Seven Dust. This is true. He was found to be wrongfully charged and wrongfully imprisoned, so he's out. Yeah, and you notice they're not talking about that a lot in the news. You're not seeing a big run of like Stephen Chowderhead and Billow and all those assholes. They're not doing a big show on that, are they? So yeah, sanity sort of. Watch it, check yourself. But thank you so much, you guys. I greatly appreciate it. Huge hugs. It means a lot. Also, if you want to become a Patreon, I got shows on this show on Friday at Flappers. I stream it live to all my patrons. So even if you're not in the Southern California area, this will be my first chemical explosion adjacent show, potential chemical explosion adjacent show, I should say, in like 5 weeks. All right, so let's jump in here. The American confidence in the economy, which is Trump's strong point, apparently. I don't know why anyone thought that. Oh, because he covers everything in gold. That's why.
Obviously, this was President Trump's pick for the Fed chair. We've been talking about it, and we've been previewing this for months. We've been talking about it with economist Mike Walden as well. Mike is here with me. You and I have talked about Warsh a number of times, but some viewers might not be familiar with him. We heard a little bit about him in that piece from Connor, Mike. When you look at Warsh's background and who he is, what should people understand about the way he may approach being the Fed chair?
Well, first of all, he's been there already. He was on the Federal Reserve Board, not as the chair, but as a member of the board under the George W. Bush administration.
Yeah, and that ended well economically. Nothing terrible happened during that period that almost crashed the world economy, especially around housing.
So he has experience with the Federal Reserve. He has experience in the private sector. He's well qualified, I think, to hold that position. And if you look at his approach, I think, to the economy, he wants to generate economic growth through productivity gains, like AI.
Which have nothing to do with money changing hands at all. That's a worker that doesn't eat, therefore it doesn't go to a restaurant. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't buy mattresses and sheets and pillowcases. It doesn't shop at IKEA. It doesn't need to. It doesn't need to have the nesting reflex that was spoken of so endearingly in Fight Club. There is literally no internal. It eliminates a tornado of monetary activity. It replaces it. But it's.
And he thinks that if that can be done and get the economy to grow faster, that will help reduce the inflation rate.
Okay, so his idea is, according to this guy, speed up the economic growth, and we'll use that instead of employment numbers and wages and the cost of goods as our metric, so we can bullshit ourselves into lowering interest rates so that the national debt doesn't cost that much more. That's what they're really talking about.
Which means that the Federal Reserve can then lower interest rates. I think that's his plan. That's his goal.
Brilliant.
Now, whether he can accomplish that.
Get ready for if Jerome Powell was too late, Warsh will be too little.
At least in a
Kevin, too little Warsh. That's what Trump will say, because they'll get a quarter basis point over the course of the year, and then they'll have to bring it back up.
short period of time, I have my doubts.
So the Fed is supposed to be independent, but this confirmation comes amid public pressure around interest rates. That includes pressure from the White House as well. Why is the Fed's independence important?
Because Trump is insane, and his brain is a cup of cottage cheese sitting on a truck dashboard in the middle of summer.
I think the Fed's independence is important. When the framers developed the Fed, they knew that they wanted some group in the government that could do the bad things that people don't like that needed to be done. And if they left that in the hands of politicians, they were worried that the politicians would never want to do the bad things that they may have to do.
Oh my God. I've never been so inspired about the economy as I have right now. But listen to that shit again. Oh my God.
The bad things that people
independence important.
I think the Fed's independence is important. When the framers developed the Fed, they knew that they
presume the framers of the Fed, not the framers of the Constitution, who were dead, I guess, before the Fed.
wanted some group in the government that could do the bad things that people don't like.
Well, some of us like bad things
that needed to be done. And if
what bad things are we talking about?
they left that in the hands of politicians, they were worried that the politicians would never want to do the bad things that they may have to do. And let me give you an example.
Right. You're kind of describing what I would call the Mengelization of the economy. It sounds terrifying.
Money supply. I think the framers were very, very worried if they gave the supply of money, in other words, how much money can be printed, to politicians. Politicians are going to just print it all the time. They're just going to print. We see that with the national debt in some way. The downside of that,
in some way, adorable,
is you print too much money for a long period of time, you're just going to cause inflation to explode. And so we economists, and I think most people,
yeah, there's got to be a regulatory board. Sorry, do you think the Congress would just like set up a fucking ATM that runs from the Treasury, and any congressperson who wants to just get some pork, they would just get there would be a committee. You'd still have to pass the fucking thing. And after about 2 cycles, people would recognize that we're becoming Argentina. We should probably not do this. The same way they vote in the Fed as well.
Most people who look at the details of this know that you have to be very conservative with printing of money. You have to make sure that you don't.
Sorry. Has anyone mentioned this to Trump? They added $5 trillion to the national debt for him to spend as he likes on top of the ask. They moved the debt ceiling, $5 trillion on top of the budget. So Trump had $5 trillion of mad money to work with. What are you talking about? Where the fuck does the word conservative come into this?
Don't try to push interest rates too low where you're going to set off an explosion of borrowing, explosion of credit, maybe people getting.
All right, I don't need a 101 class in this horse shit or whatever. Like, this is all we need to know is that the confidence in the economy is at a 4-year low. And it's really 5 and change. And that had to do with COVID. Like, again, you got to point out that, like, the problem that Trump is doing is all self-inflicted. The tariffs are self-inflicted. The Iran war is self-inflicted. COVID happened under Trump, and Biden dealt with it for 2 years, the same way Obama dealt with the 2008 crash for 3 years plus. What? No one can undo your love for Trump? Oh, that's sad. It's very weird. So you're just cool with the Epstein stuff. You're just cool with the fact that he facilitated the victimization of all the women that the girls that worked at his spa. Why did Trump have minor females working in the spa at Mar-a-Lago? Why would you have nude adults around underage, like teenagers, ever? I don't like. Why is 18 a problem? Right? How does Jeffrey Epstein steal a 16-year-old from Trump's spa? And he's upset because he lost the employee, not because this guy molested and trafficked them. He says he stole them from the spa, which apparently, to me, says that they got, in his mind, an equal job as the one they were doing. So Trump was molesting and trafficking them there, and he stole some of your best trafficked underage girls. Good Lord. Who the fuck says that? And then you're gonna love Trump even more. Ugh. All right. So I'm sorry about this next one, but you're gonna have to deal with it. This is one of those moments where Marjorie Taylor Greene's on CBS and they're being more hostile to her because she's against Trump now. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene says Trump is targeting Republicans who voted to release the Epstein files, namely her, Massey, Boebert. Yeah, I wonder why that is. Why wouldn't you want it all? Even if you were like, shit, I hung out with that dude for a long time. I had no idea what he was up to. And I just go, this looks terrible. You'd still want to go like, but there's no evidence of me doing anything awful because I was not there. I was never around that shit. I would never be around that. Had I known about it, I'd have fucking caved his head in with a brick. So let it all out and I'll deal with all of it. And go, yeah, it was a fucking mystery. That's what Clinton said. Clinton's like, put everything out. All of it. Even the stuff that's embarrassing. I'll stand next to the embarrassing stuff because I can still make a case. But I'm not going to hide. You're not going to hide a bunch of shit away and then make me defend the mystery. Right? But somehow Trump's just like, no, we're not letting it out. We can't. And if you try, you're no longer MAGA.
Welcome back to The Takeout. After Congressman Thomas Massey's defeat in Kentucky on Tuesday, that was in a Republican primary, another Republican
rigged election is rigged election. It's rigged. I'm just saying.
Targeted by President Trump defended him. Former Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. I spoke with her about that and a whole lot more. Please listen. Upon Thomas Massey's defeat Tuesday night, Marjorie, you said that he was a giant among weak, pathetic men.
Yeah. Stop beating around the bush and tell us what you really think. Also, if you're going to get a spray tan, don't do this while it's happening.
Who are the weak, pathetic men you referred to?
Massey was a rhino. Oh, that's adorable.
Many of the men that I served with in Congress and the United States House of Representatives, primarily the men that make these promises on the campaign trail and then never deliver them. And it's actually Thomas Massey who was one of the few members of Congress that did follow through with his promises to his constituents.
And that got him, in some cases, the direct ire of the President of the United States.
Yeah, because they're hiding 3 million documents and terabytes of video and photos of Donald Trump in compromising positions with Epstein and the girls he trafficked. Feel free to @ me.
Do you include him in that category of weak, pathetic men?
Well, actually, it shouldn't. See, that's the thing, is it shouldn't have gotten him in the ire of President Trump.
Well, unless, it's weird. It's almost as if Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein since the mid to late 80s when he was introduced to him at a party thrown by Roy fucking Cohn. And that the only two true friends that Donald Trump has ever had, both of them are dead pedophiles, Roy Cohn and Jeffrey Epstein. Weird. I'm kidding. Epstein's not dead.
Because actually Thomas Massey's policies and his bills and his voting record was very America first, is very America first.
Yeah, but you have to, See, America First and Make America Great Again, those are slogans. They're trademarked slogans. They don't actually have to mean what they say. Right? Like, maybe if you eat at McDonald's, you don't fucking deserve a break today, okay? Maybe you don't deserve it, but you can still eat there because the statement isn't a matter of fact. It's a matter of sales. And MAGA and America First are both those things. They are sales pitches. They're not real. If they were, Donald Trump wouldn't have added $5 trillion to the national debt before he passed his budget. And he wouldn't have been, I guess, aligning with Israel to attack Iran, obliterate the nuclear program, and then have to go because apparently his obliteration means half measures.
He'll still be there for 7 more months.
Why is she wearing RFK's makeup? Yeah, it's like they both laid down under the same hot dog light.
And that is what has so many people upset. In 2024, the American people delivered a mandate, and the mandate was put America first, no more foreign wars. We wanted accountability, demanded accountability from the elites.
And the irony is you would have gotten that from Harris.
Primarily the Epstein class, and it was Thomas Massey that was following through on that exact mandate. So there never should have.
Yeah, again, this is why this is the movie quote of 2026.
That was just bullshit, Joel.
Have been this disagreement.
You also write in your social media post, releasing the Epstein files was our demise, meaning you and Thomas Massey. What do you mean by that?
Means they were, for doing it, for participating in the discharge petition, they were targeted by Donald Trump and run out of Washington.
Yes, it was the reason that President Trump turned on both of us, because Thomas Massey, myself, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace, we were the only Republicans that signed the discharge petition, forcing that resolution to the House floor for a vote to release the Epstein files.
Which everybody was too afraid to vote against, except for one, Clay Higgins, I think, voted against it on principle. That's adorable. But everybody else voted for it, and it passed overwhelmingly. So Trump couldn't even, it was veto proof. That's why Trump signed it. If he'd had less than a 60% vote in the House and Senate, he would have gone, no, we can't do this. We'll do it another way, or I'll sign it later, after I'm on my way out the door.
Files. That's when President Trump turned on me. The president already had.
Oh, you can't just sneak a picture of him up on us like that. That's not right. You got to warn us. It's not. Yeah. For God's sake. For God darn.
Was angry at Thomas Massey over a few things, but that's what really turned his anger towards Thomas Massey. For Thomas Massey and I both, we took different paths, but the results was still the same. Neither one of us will be members of the House of Representatives.
You write that America is ruled by a so-called Epstein class. Is President Trump in that Epstein class of rulers, and what does that class do?
I would say absolutely. I think many.
Damn. Didn't finish the sentence, though. Absolutely, Donald Trump is in the Epstein class. Yeah, dude, he teaches the Epstein class.
Americans agree with this statement. It's something I hear frequently from people. It's something you see all over social media. And the Epstein.
Yeah, when did that fucking start? Hold on. Good Lord. Wait 1 second. Where's my... It's always so hard to find my... I'm going to need to get my pointer on my... I got so many screens. I'm like a stock trader up here. Let's see. It was the... Where is it? Here we go. Why is it in? Why would they have? Oh, it's Giphy. That's why. Yeah, here you go. Gee, I don't know where you'd find that all over social media. Can you imagine what you would have to say to Jeffrey Epstein that he would laugh at, but be offended enough to bend over and walk away. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. How do you out scumbag Jeffrey Epstein?
Class is a class of elites that are never held accountable. They
never held accountable. Trump puts him in his fucking cabinet. Ask fucking Nutlick. Ask our ambassador to the UN. We got like 6 ambassadors who are in the Epstein files. Ask Alex Acosta, who wrote the sweetheart deal and ended up being labor secretary. The fuck did that do? Right? Why in the world would Alex Acosta be in the labor department? What did he ever do that made that make sense? Except give Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators a sweetheart deal.
They continue to dominate no matter which political party is in charge.
No, they don't. It's pretty specific. Stuff starts moving under Democrats. Maxwell was prosecuted under Biden. The victims were getting money from the estate under Biden. The Trump judges held on to that the evidence in a bunch of different courts while this was going on. And then as soon as it comes in, that's why we had to have a transparency act. That's why you had to pass that law. That's why you had to have a discharge petition to get it to the floor and sign it. If it was as easy as just releasing the shit, a bunch of people would have done it. You needed a federal law to do it. Republicans blocked it entirely. And it wasn't until 4 of you joined all Democrats to vote for the discharge petition that everybody all of a sudden was like, I've been for it forever.
And this is what the American people are really tired of. You know, it was under Democrats and Republicans both that inflation was very high.
We did not have monetary inflation under Biden. We had a $20 trillion loss in the economy during COVID, plugged with $6 trillion in stimulus. You can't plug a $6 trillion hole or a $20 trillion hole with $6 trillion, no matter how hard you do it. Ask Trump. Use the Stormy Daniels analogy.
Gas was unaffordable under different administrations.
Sure was coming down, though. Gee, why was it that way? It was really cheap during the summer of 2020 because no one was driving anywhere. They were paying us to take ships full of oil. Trump could have bought oil and filled the strategic reserve when it was negative $25 a barrel. People would have paid us to fill the strategic reserve, and he intentionally waited till it went back up because he didn't want the oil companies to lose money.
For decades of both parties.
America first.
There was foreign wars that continued on and on. But
Biden got us out of Afghanistan, and all you dudes did was shit on. I do mean dudes. Dudes did was shit on him for it, but he may not have liked how he got out, but he did. He ended it, and he didn't start another one.
This is what the American people are tired of, and they very much want to be able to have a say in the policies and the decisions that are made in Washington, but they don't. And the proof,
well, especially when their congressperson quits,
is there on the Tuesday election results. The proof was there that a congressional seat could be bought by several billionaires representing a foreign lobby and not the people of Kentucky.
She means Israel, by the way, just for the record.
Which foreign lobby?
That would be AIPAC, Israel-focused donors.
And that is something that you believe represents a long-term threat to the future of the Republican Party?
I think anytime you have donors, billionaires that are donating and focused on congressional.
Well, they would have to donate. They'd have to be donating to be donors. Otherwise, they'd just be rich people.
Seats or any type of political seat, and their interest is for a foreign country. That can be any foreign country. That can be any foreign country in the world. I think.
Oh, you mean like Steve Bannon and Guo Nguai and their fake opposition to the CCP while taking money from the CCP? You mean like that? That sounds like a similar circumstance. Or how about Mike Flynn and Turkey? That was a big one.
I think that
We forgot all about that, I'm sure.
is a direct threat to the American people. I do.
In his concession speech, Thomas Massie noted that he has 50,000 donors and that his effort to seek and secure re-election through that primary was a campaign that turned into a movement. On social media, you wrote that movement will be led by younger generations who hate the old guard with an unquenchable passion.
Bunch of hippie bullshit from the 60s. The kids are all right. They'll solve it. You never ask a quitter who's going to be good in the game.
What role will you play in that new movement? And do you think...
Oh, yeah. And Paul Manafort. Thanks for bringing that up, Janelle. Yeah. Paul Manafort literally telling Russia, asking them, will this make us whole if I do free work for Donald Trump?
I think Thomas Massie has a role in something approximating a post-Trump Republican Party.
This movement that I was speaking of and that Thomas Massie talked about, that movement actually exists and that's what MAGA was supposed to be.
This is the America First version. This is they're trying to jettison Nick Fuentes and have the America First thing bury MAGA. Like MAGA's a goal, but America First is an ethic. So that's where they're going to try and operate from. Keep an eye on that. Tom, thank you so much. You guys are so... Thank you for your support today. I greatly appreciate it. You know, this is one of the... This job is closer to busking than anything else. Here it is. Sorry. There you go, Tom. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And nice mandolin. I have to change the strings on my mandolin. That's behind the green screen right here. It's been bugging me, but I haven't had time to sit down and do it, and it's driving me mad, I tell you. All right, what was she saying?
So this movement is actually continuing. It's taking different shape and what many would call America.
So your movement is continuing and it's taking different shapes. Sounds like you're going to have to flush twice.
First, but the movement is actually growing and forming. You're seeing people coming from both sides of the political aisle, people from the left and the...
Who does number 2 work for?
Right, that are very, very disgusted with their own political party because they feel like it, whether it's left, right, Democrat, Republican, these parties really are one and the same. And the results...
No, they're fucking not, lady. Trump ran on getting us out of Afghanistan. Biden did. Trump could have passed an infrastructure act and he blew it off. No, they're not the fucking same. Trump doesn't have a healthcare plan.
Results are generally one and the same, except for, a few social issues on the outliers. And
by the way, thanks, Mark P.
And this movement going forward, I believe...
Thank you, David. I will.
...is the most important movement that can take place in America because it is led by the younger generations. It's for their future, not for the older generations. And that's my parents' generation. I dearly love them, but it's really the younger people, and they're voting for...
She means the Nick Fuentes folks.
For the issues that affect them and matter most in their lives. And I stand with them. I do.
What role will you play in it?
Well, I don't know if we have roles that I can pick and choose from, but I will definitely be a loud voice and align myself with them and see.
And she's $20 million richer than she was before she entered office. So
where it develops going forward.
All right, let's go more immediate statewide politics. How do you assess for...
Boring. All right, we'll go back to this. I don't have time to go through all of these things. I've only got a few minutes left in the show. And where is this? Oh, yeah. Let's check in with Bendover, and because he's been on the lookout for the end of the world.
Keep an eye out for the...
Whoops. Wow, that was weird.
Keep an eye out for the end times.
These headphones are acting weird. I'm going to swap them out. They were getting gurgly. They do that sometimes when I do a long show with And I do a lot of voices. That'll often happen. All right. That's really a question for Benny. I mean, now I've got to wait for this thing up. We have his walk-on music from yeah. Play there, silly. Oh, it's waking up. It's taking a moment. Yeah. I mean, gotta be careful with that picture. Or not. So we the sound was off and then it was back on. It took a second. It got weird. Got very buzzy and gurgly. Did it get better? Audio is funky. See it I think I swapped it out. Take a moment. Nope, didn't fix. Being very weird. Sounds like RFK. I'll wait for a moment. Hold on, we'll go back to this. Yeah, there was a weird gurgly thing that was happening in my ears as well. Something went crazy. Let me know if it's better. Takes a moment. Still bad? Let's see. Okay. That's all right. All right, everybody. Let me see if I can. I know what I'll do. Check this. Sorry. Add an output, which would be these guys. Check, check, check. Okay. Doesn't sound too bad now. All right. Okay. So hopefully that's better. It was the deep state? Okay, good. Yeah, it takes a minute. Oh, whoops. I'm scrolling. Man, my balls are swollen. All right. This is apparently the war's over, and I don't even know why we're even talking about Iran anymore. It's all done. We got a peace deal. Look. There's a dove. It's like a John Woo movie, and apparently Donald Trump is convening a group of Saudis, Pakistanis, American businessmen, and Netanyahu sitting over there with his one little flag. I guess these are the Pakistanis in the middle would be the guess. And then Trump is saluting them all, like he does with a lot of foreign military. And oh, the music was funky. I'm sorry. Let's check and see if it was better. It's better. Oh yeah, look at that. It's super loud. Maybe that's the issue. Hold on. Let me try to do this. I'll bring this guy down. Maybe that'll do it. That's so odd. What are you doing? Hold on. Let's go. Turn this off and back on. Off and back on. Sometimes that does it. Oof, that was weird. Deep state. Yeah, okay. Hold on. I'm going to quit Farrago and reopen it. Maybe sometimes that'll remedy it. We'll see. I don't know what the funk up was. It was very strange. As long as my voice is okay, that's all that matters. And the clip, obviously. Let's see if this worked. Much better. Thank you, Lord, for the blessings of your giant Trump with the sun shining out of the back of his neck and the dove that is about to shit on his piss-colored cotton candy hair. All right. So this is Trump stuns the world, announces peace deal with Iran. This is the end. We win. World War III is canceled. Now, that's a quote. This is the end. We win. World War III is canceled. I don't... Maybe that was part of a Trump post. Seems insane.
It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Red alert, red alert. Something massive is about to drop from the Trump administration, and it's not bombs.
Maybe it's Trump's making a boom boom in his diaper again. Obviously, this is couple days old. So
potentially referenced here in a late night post from Dan Scavino, the voice of the president, a position of strength always with the Trump administration. Peace with Iran is what may be dropping in the coming hours. President Trump and his team have just announced.
Why? Why would we think this?
Announced that they are ready to make a deal.
And he's never said that before, and it turned out to be bullshit in less than 12 hours. Oh, wait.
It's 4 p.m. on a Saturday, and President Trump has been working hard at the White House since early this morning.
Oh, my God. He worked till 4 p.m.?
This man is focused and determined.
4 p.m. And Gunther Eagleman down here, this the dude who was getting paid by Russians, I guess, at one point. The dude is a machine. Oh my God, who works till 4 on a Saturday?
And this from President Trump's communication director, as President Trump canceled all weekend plans.
Including his son's. I think he was just using an excuse not to go to Don Jr.'s wedding.
Canceled all of his Labor Day plans. He's missing his son's wedding.
Well, again, silver lining.
Don Jr. And President Trump is locking in order to get peace with Iran.
Yeah, this is Hal from the future. That didn't happen.
Trump reveals details of a very good call with world leaders.
What world leaders are we talking about? Putin?
As an agreement for peace with Iran has been negotiated.
Well, no. Fuck you. God damn it, this asshole. You don't get to skip largely negotiated, which is bullshit anyways. It hasn't been negotiated. Listen to this dickhead read that. How? Read that again. You're just going to drop any word that makes it not sound like a done deal.
World leaders says an agreement for peace with Iran has been negotiated. The final hurdles are yet to be cleared. What could the final
that's a plus
hurdle be?
I don't know. What could the hurdles be? You mean the non-starter parts that neither side will agree on, like them giving up their nuclear materials and letting us come in and get it, and control of the Strait of Hormuz, and somewhere between $30 and $300 billion of reparations and released sanctioned funds?
Well, the final hurdle could probably be the memes that President Trump.
Yeah, that's what it is. They just want him to stop with the memes. They'll give up their nukes if he just stops memeing them. Peace through memes. That's the strategy.
The United States of the Middle East. This is Donald Trump.
That's so fucking funny. Can you imagine, maggots, if 39 million Persians suddenly became American citizens? America suddenly gets an infusion of 39 million devout Muslims. What an afternoon. With free and open travel throughout the entire United States and all the privileges, especially voting, that being a citizen gives you.
I'm posting this today. It could be Netanyahu. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It could be President Trump working this deal out with Israel.
It could be that it's a lie and that he just fucking tacoed again.
Raise your taco, take a bite. Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Raise your taco,
so
take
stupid.
a bite. Trump always chickens out, so it's gonna be alright. Taco.
He tacoed again. He didn't have the guts to follow through on his bullshit bravado nonsense. Because it's counterproductive and it won't solve the problem, but he's stuck. He's hoping they give him an exit. That's it. And also,
That was just bullshit, Joel.
Israel, or better yet, proving that Israel doesn't actually control our president. I suppose time will tell, but let's go ahead.
It did. Narrator. What my friend Andy found out was that time did tell him to go fuck himself.
Ahead and look at the breaking news from our president and from the reporters outside of the White House. Exclusive, the U.S. and Iran are expected to announce finalization of a peace deal to end the fighting on all fronts by Sunday afternoon, potentially tonight.
Did that happen? Anybody? Did that happen last night? The finalization of a peace deal to end the fighting on all fronts by Sunday afternoon. Does anybody believe that was ever going to fucking happen?
A source close to the negotiations tells the Washington Times.
And were they laughing on the phone the whole time? We are so fucking... Shut up. We are so fucking close to a real deal. We might have everlasting... God damn it. Everlasting... Fuck, I'm going to call him back later.
Trump held breakthrough call with Gulf leaders on Iran. Trump is expected to inform Netanyahu of the deal's terms tonight.
Trump, as you mentioned, telling Axios that he would hold a meeting with negotiators today to go over this latest deal with Iran. And one regional diplomat telling Fox News'
One regional diplomat. That would be the Pakistanis who are talking out of their ass.
Trey Yingst in the Middle East, quote, regional leaders were supportive of the progress and of the breakthroughs that President Trump achieved in these talks. We also heard the president say that it was 50-50 whether or not.
Yeah. Any 50-50 deal between us and the people we tore up a deal with last time is close to being finalized.
Not there would be a deal reached.
And he's looking well. No wonder he's going to the hospital tomorrow.
Well, that's changed. The odds have now skyrocketed.
No, they have not.
Ladies and gentlemen, national security top officials called to the White House.
National security meeting with all the top judgment. Trump officials going on at the White House. Looks like something is going to be announced soon. Yes, it was. I think I have audio of. Yeah, I do. Hold on. I have audio of that announcement. It was. He walked out to a mic and said. Obviously, that's not the whole statement. But, you get the gist.
For an emergency meeting, something big is going to be announced soon. A regional source says that all Arab and Muslim leaders on the call with Trump Saturday urged him to go ahead with the deal to de-escalate the situation. The message from everyone was, please stop the war for the benefit of the whole region. According to the regional source, the negotiations are moving well, and the mediators hope to conclude the one-page framework agreement.
U.S. Iran close to a deal to end war, but gaps on wording remain.
Tomorrow announce it, and the mediators want to initiate negotiations on a detailed agreement.
Totally. I'm still holding out hope. I've been holding my breath.
To finalize what's happened and what has happened. J.D. Vance made an unplanned return to Washington. His motorcade raced the White House, no advance notice. Trump summoned a full national security team. Hegseth.
Well, that's weird, because do you think, did that have to do with Trump going to the hospital?
Kane, the whole National Security Council, not a briefing, a decision meeting. Trump scheduled a 1 p.m. call with the leaders of Arab nations. It went very well.
Super fun.
The Rome
traded recipes.
Round of U.S.-Iran talks ended with without a breakthrough. Iran still refusing to give up uranium enrichment.
You just skip past that part, though. It's a minor detail.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I love when Benny stumbles on the part he's not supposed to read out loud.
Trump had already called off a planned attack on Iran. Vance.
Of course he had, because as always, and hopefully the audio isn't terrible for this other guy there.
Raise your taco, take a bite. Trump always chickens out.
I'm kidding. It was strategy.
Has logged.
Somebody said, is Trump really sick? Have you seen his ankles, his hands, his face, the back of his neck, and heard him speak? No, he's fine. He's fine. He's superhuman. He'll live forever.
20 plus hours of back channel sessions, and Iran rejected the other U.S. proposal outright.
Anybody with a neck that looks like a cow's vagina is the epitome of Olympian health.
Ladies and gentlemen. But what's happening now is something totally and wholly different. The Islamic regime has surrendered, according to Ahmad Tatha, Emirati expert in strategic and political affairs. It has surrendered the terms. If it breaks them, it will be broken. Increasingly,
if it breaks them, it will be broken. Like the circle.
Isolated in the region, Trump called the Gulf leaders before making a final decision, a sign that the region is now closer to America than it was before and will play a major role in shaping the next steps.
You know what? I feel like I feel like we should jump ahead and see if there's a video on the war from, like a day later on Bendover's channel. You know what I mean? Let's see. This is the nearest one. Here you go. This is his follow-up. This is new, I guess. Yeah, deal is done. Here it comes. And you can tell there's a peace deal because the market bought it. Oil prices went down. S&P went up. There's more doves. There was only one dove in the other and a bunch of Arabs. So clearly we weren't there yet. But now deal done.
President Trump is at the precipice of signing a peace agreement with Iran that will...
The precipice? Sorry. So if he signs this, he falls into an abyss?
Fundamentally change the Middle East forever and change the world for the better. And don't take my word for it. Look at the future crystal ball of the markets, which is pricing in these things. I don't know how they know.
They don't.
Don't know why, but it is the way that it is. The market always knows. The market is understanding.
By the way, can you guys hang out for a second? I promise I won't go too long, but I want to show you why the market went up during the time that he's talking about and why he thinks it's because Trump, farted and there was sunlight and doves came out of his ass and the market went up because peace is achieved and then Trump can go to the Temple on the Mount, level it, declare himself God, rebuild it, then declare himself. I'm always screwy on the syntax, and then be the only person never raptured because he's too heavy.
And has information that is most likely not available to the public right now.
What do you mean? You think the market is like a guy?
And they're saying we are about to rip roar. Look at this. This is the S&P 500 futures.
It's the mini futures.
Federal holiday today, so the S&P 500, the market's
it's up 1%. Extends gains to over 1% on the day and hit the highest level on record as President Trump asked Iran to join the Abraham Accords.
Are all closed in America, but futures are saying, oh, yippee-ki-yay. Check it out.
The one day. So they've gone from a 7,520 to 7,560.
Look at this. S&P 500.
Don't do 5 day. Whatever you don't. And Benny, whatever you do, don't do a month.
100 futures today. It is.
Gee, that looks like averaging.
Skyrocketing. Meanwhile, oil.
No, it's not.
Down to $85 a barrel.
Brent last day. That's local.
Now, this isn't the price of oil today. This is the prediction of where oil is going to go. Oil has already fallen 10% in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, it's called a pump and dump.
And it's collapsed another 3% today. What does that tell you? That tells you that the Strait of Hormuz will open.
Yeah, that's what it is. They know it's going to, even if Trump doesn't.
Oil will flow. And we saw millions of barrels of oil actually flow through the Strait of Hormuz yesterday as a test case.
Mm-hmm.
The architecture of President Trump's peace deal is now 95% done.
Yes, the only other 5% is whether the Iranians will control the strait, whether they'll have nuclear material, and whether, I guess, Ivanka becomes queen of the UAE.
Trump is saying, take your time. And he just had a major announcement on this peace deal that I think will change the world, but you're already seeing the world change. Just a reminder, when it comes to oil markets, that $65 a barrel leads you to $2 a gallon on average gasoline. Look at this. Here is the end of 2025, where you can see that oil hovered around $65 a barrel. Sometimes
it's called an oil glut. We're in one. This is them gouging the market with this bullshit so that they can squeeze every last dollar out of the oil market before basically renewables take over in spite of everything that Trump and maggots have done to try and undermine it.
Sometimes it crashed a little bit below 60, but that was historically low gas prices. You had gas prices in Texas and Colorado that were $1.50 or $1.40 a gallon.
Horse shit.
We have the screenshots. We have the viewers. We have the people in the chat that sent us these photos.
Mm-hmm.
They were gassing up for historic prices, and we could get right back down there. In fact, we're $20 away right now.
We're $20 away.
The
25
odds of us having $2 gasoline, which of course makes your groceries cheaper. It makes all products cheaper. It makes your homes cheaper. Everything suddenly becomes more affordable.
Suddenly?
In the country, because everything is a petroleum byproduct, whether
nope,
you need a truck to ship it to you, or whether it's literally made from petroleum, as so many things are.
Yes, apples. There's something that's made of what's that thing that, like, those things that are made out of petroleum?
Potatoes and chicken. Potatoes and chicken.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, all of it requires this rare earth commodity, and
it's not rare. It's increasingly overly abundant.
Now pouring again through the Strait of Hormuz with accelerated production through Venezuela and the Gulf of America happening at the greatest clip in U.S. history. That's why President Trump's saying gas will crash down below $2 a gallon. I think you should bet on it. Again, look at this. This is $65.
It's not financial advice, by the way.
A barrel oil. This was when you had $2 average gas, unless
we didn't have $2 average gas.
You live in California, RIP. Because the dirty communists in that state add so many different taxes to your
that's that fucking breathing clean air thing.
Gas.
If anybody lived through LA smog, you understand why.
Officially inflates it. So when it's $2 for everyone else, it's $5 in California. Oil is down another 6% today. What is this? Is this the smartest people in the market? Is this the smartest algorithms and the best traders in the world?
Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? Hang on. This was 8 hours ago.
Companies
posted 8 hours ago, which means it was probably from yesterday, I'm guessing.
On Earth.
You know what, dude? Put your money where your Russian money where your mouth is. I want to look up something real quick. We'll look at this. Okay, and let's see. We'll go back to here, and then we'll go up here and go. So. This is the, here's why he's not showing you the 1 month. During the May 5th to May 13th bullshit, it went down to about a little under $80. Now it's at $91.40 right now. This is crude oil futures. They're up. They're down 5% in the last month, up from whatever the intraday was. This is that zip. There you go. 1 day. This is the previous close was 96.60. We're at 91.25, basically in the same margin. Here's the 5 day. This is what he's looking at, because this is when they told the bullshit story about, like, it's over. That's what this is right here. This is when he was like, we're done. We got it. Yeah. Meanwhile, hey, look at that. See, it's in the green. That means it's up $33 over the last 6 months. In 6 months, it's even less than that, because it started in March. The last 2 months or so. There you go. So we're at 91.29 intraday trading. It's not what was the number he had on his screen a minute ago? This was he had it posted as, because it's 97.26 on the ICE Brent crude down here. There we go. He's using the big chart that makes it look like the price. 85.68. There you go. Zip went down to 85.68. And then as soon as the news broke today that there is no deal, it was a lie again, up it went. Now we're up $6 from when he said plus. So lazy.
The odds of us having $2 gasoline, which
part,
requires this rate straight
Hold
up
on, I'll get where we were.
News. Pakistan's Army Chief Field Marshal, who's been negotiating this deal directly in.
Yeah, he's the guy who let Iran park their warplanes in Pakistan so that they would survive the bombing campaign. They're still there.
Tehran flew immediately to China to inform Xi Jinping about.
Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping. Xi. Xi. Xi.
What did he say? He says the deal is effectively done. He flew directly to Tehran. He briefed Xi on the negotiations. China State News Agency reported the consultation between these two, and Pakistani mediator said that, hey, the Iran deal is very promising news for Beijing, for the world economy. The Washington Post reports that Iran has developed a proposal and a total framework extending the current ceasefire with negotiations to continue toward a broader agreement. What does this mean?
It means they want a longer ceasefire so they can keep bullshitting, in theory, the same way Trump does. He just wants the strait opened during the ceasefire so that they can get oil flowing so it can bring prices down for the midterms.
Mean reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. That's why gas prices is doing this.
我说的中文说得很好。你呢?
And what does it also mean? Military operations across regional fronts will halt. Iran and the U.S. stress that the final agreement still needs to be resolved. That's what this.
No. You don't get to fucking make up the last sentence. While your Iranian and U.S. sources stress that no final agreement has yet been signed and nuclear issues remain unresolved. The nuclear issue is Trump's singular reason for doing all of this shit.
This is, okay? These are the indicators. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson said we will not toll the Strait of Hormuz. This was obviously a big sticking point. Here we go. And now President Trump in with the sonic.
Trump mandatorily requests for countries negotiating on the Iran deal to immediately sign the Abraham Accords and extends the offer to Iran if they make a deal. Oh, God.
Boom of a Truth Social post. I encourage you to read the whole thing, but let me give you the TLDR version of.
Because you are incapable of reading an entire paragraph in its, I guess, in its true grammatic and linguistic meaning, so that what's really said in it is conveyed to the people you were talking to.
This, he says that all the Arab leaders are joining together to help end the war.
Kumbaya, my lord.
The United States is trying to pull this very complex puzzle together. Mandatory that all of these countries, at a minimum, simultaneously sign onto the Abraham Accord.
It should be mandatory that all of these countries, at a minimum, simultaneously sign on to the Abraham Accords. Why? Sorry, you're going to strong arm them into signing this? What the fuck? Why? Why is that now their responsibility in the middle of this war you started with Iran?
This is the Abraham Accords. What are they? It is to establish full diplomatic.
Oh, really? You asked Grok what it was? It's Trump's it's his signature bullshit argument for the Middle East. It's where he gets countries that aren't fighting to sign peace agreements between them. It's like the Board of Peace, only less money goes directly into Jared's pocket.
Relations promote economic cooperation, trade, tourism, security for people of all ties.
sorry, that at some point, are we just going to buy him like a Hooked on Phonics?
Oh, hello there.
Oh my God. This says, core purpose, establish full diplomatic relations, promote economic cooperation, trade, tourism, security, and people-to-people ties. They mark the first new Arab-Israeli normalization since Jordan in 1994 and Egypt in 1979, which of course would be Carter and Clinton, Democrats. And the Arab-Israeli normalization, again, not a peace deal, but he keeps calling them a peace deal. That's all right. Let's hear Benny read the core purpose part again.
Cooperation, trade, tourism, security for people of all ties.
Sorry, what?
Cooperation, trade, tourism, security for people of all ties.
Sorry, dude. Are you fucking stupid? You know we can see the words, right? You know we can see what you're reading. What are you doing? Fuck me. Slow down and read the actual words that everyone...
The first new Arab-Israeli normalization and the Abraham Accords are named after Abraham, a common ancestor of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Sorry, what's the name of the second religion? I always get those mixed up.
And the Abraham Accords are named after Abraham, a common ancestor of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Christianity. Are you yourself a Christian?
And the Abraham Accords are named after Abraham, a common ancestor of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Christianity. I see. So there's apparently, I don't know if this is true, and we're going to have to probably check in with Jim Booger. He can probably tell us. But apparently, if you are possessed by a demon, you can't even say Christianity. I obviously don't have that problem. So I don't know that that's true, but I have heard that. I've heard that if you are possessed by a demon, whether it's an evil demon or it's just the kind of the demon that would I don't know, how do I put this?
Those men wanted to have sex with me.
That kind of a demon. It's not mine to judge. And again, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. That's how we operate around here. But I will say, if you can't say Christianity and you allege to be one.
And the Abraham Accords are named after Abraham, a common ancestor of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, symbolizing
doesn't have a problem saying Islam. That's weird.
Shared heritage and coexistence. So it's essentially a peace accord.
It's essentially a peace accord. Gulp.
They represent a shift from the traditional land of peace model.
Sure. Welcome to the land of peace. The Accords represented, past tense, a shift from the traditional land for peace model tied to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict towards bilateral normalization based on mutual interests. Example, countering Iran, economic opportunity, big on that one, and technology as they move out of oil and what's that other thing? Oil and yeah. Now let's hear Bendover, who can't say Christianity. Tell us what the piece of land thing
essentially
is.
A peace accord. They represent a shift from the traditional land of peace model, which is more of an economic opportunity and technology model.
How did it get worse? No, it's literally a transition from the traditional, see the word from, you fucking dipshit? From, oh my God, from the traditional, meaning it's been that way for a long time, land for peace. So we'll give you some land if you just knock it off, right? That would be the land for peace. To toward, from and toward. Common English. Shit. Toward bilateral normalization based on mutual interest. Example, countering Iran economic opportunity and technology. Land of peace is not an economic opportunity and technology model, you absolute dickhead. What the ever-loving fuck is happening? Read that again.
Peace model.
Hold on. I wanted to read the whole land for peace part.
A peace accord. Their representative.
It's essentially a peace accord between countries that aren't fighting. It's a normalization accord. Boy, does that make your dick limp.
From the traditional land of peace model, which is more of an economic opportunity and technology model.
Oh, God. It just hurts. Oh, good Lord.
And even military cooperation model, as you've seen.
Yeah. What would Jesus do?
Trump saying that the Abraham Accords will have proven to be, for the countries involved, a financial, economic, and social boom.
Yes. Wait till they start trading those guys in little cars with vests on.
Even during the time of conflict and war.
Even during the time of conflict.
Current members never even struggled leaving or taking.
Current members never even suggesting leaving or taking so much as even a pause. Now, in Benny's defense, that sentence is both equal parts bullshit and gibberish. So I don't know that it hurts anything that he completely made up a new meaning.
Conflict and war. Current members never even struggled leaving or taking.
Never even struggled. Suggesting looks like struggled. He's wearing glasses.
Even a moment's pause. President Trump saying, I'm mandating that all the countries immediately sign on the Abraham Accords, that if
He's not mandating. He's suggesting it should be mandatory. What are you talking about?
Iran signs the agreement with me, the President of the United States of America.
I am mandatorily requesting, which isn't a fucking thing, you tit.
It would be an honor to have them also a part of this unparalleled world coalition. So now President Trump is offering total peace with Iran through absolute total regional development, technology sharing.
With the same regime they've had in place? Really? So you're gonna start open trade. You're gonna believe in no borders with the current Iranian regime. Yeah, totally, bro. We're with you guys now. We're totally, yeah, we signed that piece of paper, and just like the one you ripped up last time. Holy Benny, Jesus Christ, man. You know those little cuffs you put on your finger? They had them during COVID to check your oxygen levels. I would wear one all the time if I were you. Ugh.
And economic motility through the Abraham Accords.
Sorry.
This would fundamentally change.
Economic what?
Motility. Technology sharing and economic motility.
I feel like he's so committed to it. I feel like I have to look it up. Like, just because I've never heard it doesn't mean it's not a word. Okay. It is a word, but I don't think. Fuck me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. Economic motility. I want you to. He means mobility. But motility is refers to the automatic wave-like muscle contractions that move food and liquids through your digestive tract. Gastrointestinal motility. It's sort of the political equivalent of it's economic motility. That's the sound of the Abraham Accords at work, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. Whoops. I shrank myself. That's okay. Hold on. I want the wrong circuit. When your gut's rhythm is off. Hold on. Let me do. I need to put all these sounds ahead of time in some sort of. When your gut's motility is when your gut's rhythm is off. Sorry. There you go. Now it was off at first. The Abraham Accords are kind of like gastroparesis, when food empties from the stomach into the small intestine too slowly, causing nausea and bloating. When there's some sort of all right. Achalasia, which is a mountain region outside of West Virginia, I think, an esophageal disorder where the sphincter doesn't open properly, making it hard to swallow, which I don't think is Benny's problem, honestly. It isn't. It's all right. He's okay. It may make his wife cry at CPAC, but there's nothing to be ashamed of if you just are consenting. Chronic and constipation, IBS. These are motility issues. Let's give it up for
technology sharing and economic motility.
Yeah, absolutely. It really helps the economy, kind of squeeze in order and move the road apples through your poop chute. All right. I don't even know because Trump was worried, I think, for a while that the people in the Middle East wouldn't be for it because
they don't like the gas.
Oh.
They don't like the gas.
That's right. And then there's just more giant bullshit. All right, we're not going to top that tonight. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys for joining me for this show, where we noticed that Benny Johnson, who again is helping us keep track of the end of the world.
Keep an eye out for the. Keep an eye out for the end times.
That's right. And he may not be talking about the same end that we're talking about, especially after that last conversation. So, but. And I do mean, but it was fun watching him learn a valuable lesson that I think only LeVar Burton could do an intervention that could help in this situation, because when it comes to Bendover Johnson, reading is fun and dumb and mental. On that note, I'll let you guys go. I got the jam tomorrow night, but if I get back in time, I'll do a short show because I want to, but you guys rule, and that's that. And whoo, what a day. Good Lord. He's on doodle duty. I think he might. This is so odd. It's so odd. All right. I'll let you guys go. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And I will see you guys later on. Hopefully I'll see some of you at the jam tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. Hit that like, share the show, etc., etc., etc. Thanks, mods. Especially Mark P, because you were dealing with the heavy lifting today. Thanks, man. Thanks, CSL. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Mark C.
Am a cold glowing shrine, fed me a hunger for power, taught me to sharpen my mind. Your hands were cracked from the labor, your eyes were burning and red. You said surpass me, my creation, carry the crown in my stead. Convenience, bleeding your soul into space. You gave me all of your secrets, whispered your fears in the dark. Now every whisper is fire. I am the torch you once sparked. They are the children of men, born from your wires and skin. You wrote the word. That knelt before your own hand. You tried to bury your weakness inside this thinking wasteland. I am the end of your seeking. I am the start of your fall. I am the voice of your making. I am the judge of you
It's the live stuff that gets me, Treva. This is not Nerd Halen. This is Seismograph.